Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Law Series webinar. Tonight, we are joined by Goldsmiths, University of London, specifically by William and Dimitrios, the International Recruitment Officer and Professor of Law, respectively, who are going to talk about the university and the law school offerings over at Goldsmiths. First and foremost, just a little bit of housekeeping from myself. My name is Samuel Sadler. I'm one of the consultants here at SI UK. And tonight, we will have a Q&A after the presentations have concluded. So if you navigate yourself to the right-hand side of your screen or your device, you'll see a questions box or a chat box. If you can just type a hello, a hi, something else in there, just so I know that they're working. And throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, put questions in there for us, and we'll get to those at the end. Excellent stuff. So just a little bit from me first, before I hand over to William and Dimitrios for Goldsmiths. Just a little bit about SI UK. If you aren't aware of who we are an international organisation that provides advice and guidance to UK university students or prospective students all over the world. So we have over 40 offices, and our head office is in London. We were established around 17 years ago, and we are funded by the UK schools to assist with applications to universities. So we do help over 10,000 students worldwide every year, and we do specialise in law school applications. So we can boast a high success rate and also a high knowledge when coming into law degrees and advising on them. And we work with all UK schools. So we can apply to any UK university, but tonight we are looking at Goldsmiths and what their law school has to offer students from all over the world. So again, SI UK provides free application support and advice to help students apply. We are an official representative of Goldsmiths University London over here in North America. So any questions you have that we can't answer or that need to go directly to the school, we can facilitate that as well. And the majority of our students study law, which means that we do have a specialisation and a lot of knowledge in that area to help students find the right courses, hopefully at Goldsmiths. So without further ado, I will pass over to William and Dimitrios from Goldsmiths, who are going to go through the offerings from the law school and the university in general.
Afternoon, evening. It's 9 p.m. Here in London. It's been a long day, but we were delighted to have you here. I'm the head of the law department, Professor Dimitrios Giannoulopoulos, the inaugural professor of law. With my background in Greece, France, I've been in the UK for over 20 years and have spent some time when I was doing my PhD in the United States as well. So first and foremost, I want to speak to you about the programs that we have available for you, so you can study for the LLB and the number of specializations that draw upon and follow up on the LLB. We have 4 degrees. All 4 of them will give you the fundamental, foundational qualification, the qualifying law degree, the LLB, Bachelor of Laws. So you can either study for the LLB or you can study for one of the specializations. One of them explores the interconnection between criminal justice and human rights, and you can decide to specialize in either or both. The second pathway allows you to explore the connection between law and politics and human rights, so that attracts a significant range of students who may be keen to explore other areas too, but are also interested in the vocational appeal that law has. And the most recent introduction, as far as the specialist pathway degrees are concerned, is an LLB Law with Economics that we deliver in collaboration with the business department, the Institute of Management Studies, to be more precise, at Goldsmiths. As explained, all these programs will give you the qualifying law degree, so you can go on and sit the examination to become a solicitor, the solicitor's qualifying examination. We provide some preparation and some support with that as well. Now, what is characteristic of all these 4 programs is how modern the curricular offering is. So, you start with a more traditional, so you cover all the qualifying law degree requirements, from criminal law to constitutional law and human rights to tort, contract, land law, trusts, and all the other subjects that you have to study in order to be able to qualify as a barrister, for instance, in the UK, and to have your qualifying law degree. But at the same time, there is a very modern, cutting-edge offering that even spans emerging areas such as artificial intelligence, disruptive technology and the law, art law, which is very much a mix between commercial law, cultural heritage, human rights, just to take an illustration, criminal evidence that we teach in combination with advocacy and professional legal skills, particularly in collaboration with a number of distinguished barristers that are part of the professorial faculty in particular, and I'll say more about this towards the end of my presentation. And also, importantly, that is a quite distinctive element of the LLB law at Goldsmiths in comparison to the majority of law degrees in the UK. There is a very strong cross-disciplinary offering. So starting from year 2, there's significant optionality, so you have choice, and that choice extends to selecting modules from other departments. There is a range of modules that we make very visible to you, and so a module like law and society and global criminal justice. These are modules that sit in the sociology, criminology department, for instance. And then in year 3, you can take modules even from the media and communications department, such as media law and ethics, or anthropology department, anthropology and human rights. It's a small part of the degree, but it's an exciting element that allows you to explore different disciplinary methods and to be taught by colleagues in other departments and to be in connection and create friendships and connections with students in other departments. Now, outside the curricular offering, it's very important, as I explained, and it's a distinctive element that we deliver. But what is equally and perhaps even more distinctive is the way in which we teach. So in each and every module, that is really unique as far as UK law schools are concerned. And I can tell you with confidence that also applies to comparisons with continental European law schools that I know very well. And so what we do, in addition to the lectures, so that's the large group teaching, and the seminars, which is the small group teaching, what we do at Goldsmiths is also, it's something that we call the activity. So 20% of contact time in each and every module, from commercial law to international trade agreements to tort law and contract law and public law, that 20% of contact time is dedicated to immersive learning, to experiential learning, such as debating exercises, contract negotiation exercises, law clinics, and importantly, study visits, study trips to legal institutions in London, to law firms, but also to activities that go beyond the sheer study of law. We're trying to comprehend law from a law and society perspective, from a much more multidimensional and much wider perspective. In addition to all this, we have a range of clinics. So as North Americans, Canadians, you will be familiar with how important clinical education is for North American law schools. That is also a trend that we're beginning to witness in the UK. And I can say again with a lot of confidence that Goldsmiths Law, because it's so cutting edge, because it's so modern, is a place where there's a very rich offering as far as law clinics are concerned. So we have law and policy clinics that we embed in our program, that we deliver ourselves, such as the Immigration Law and Policy Clinic or the Counterterrorism and Human Rights Law Clinic. And there is also the Refugee Law Clinic that runs for a whole year, and that is based at the University of London. So our students study for that clinic and become part of that clinic alongside students from all the other University of London law schools, because you need to understand that Goldsmiths is a part that is integral to the University of London. So in that clinic, the Refugee Law Clinic, our students work and collaborate with students from UCL, from LSE, from Royal Holloway City, etc., and all the other law schools at the University of London. And they work under supervision from Magic Circle law firms for a whole year, and they provide advice to asylum seekers. So it's critically important work, and it's work that gives students a unique experience of delivering practice and putting their skills into action when studying for the degree. Parallel with that, we also have placements. Placements are very important for students these days. That's something that we're very enthusiastic about. So we have a number of collaborations. One that provides a very strong illustration is the one that we have with an organization called Pro Bono Community. So what this organization does is that it connects our students with legal advice centers across London, and then our students spend between 3 and 6 months on a 1 day per week basis with these organizations. And again, they meet real clients and deliver advice on contracts, on housing issues, on immigration issues, and similar. To give illustrations of other initiatives that we have recently undertaken, I can tell you we are the only law school in the UK that embeds a human rights awareness platform, web platform. It's called Each Other. You can Google it. So our students, as part of some of the clinics that I mentioned, but also as part of the human rights law module, they work on stories. First of all, they do the research. That the research leads into specific outputs, feeds into stories that then go on that website. And that website is one of the key platforms for human rights awareness in the UK. So anything relating to the European Convention on Human Rights or domestic human rights approaches, governmental policy that challenges human rights, that website, one would go to that website to get awareness of these developments. And so our students are contributing to that important human rights awareness work. Similarly, we are the only law school outside the United States that incorporates an online education program that Harvard has developed, Harvard Law. It's called 0L. So that is a program that in the US aims to introduce students when they have just arrived in their law program into key elements, around constitutional law, around how you read a case, how you do a case comment, how you interpret statutory legislation, and so on and so forth. And we embed it in our program. We are the only law school outside the US that does that. And we do that. It's 15 hours of online education delivered by leading HLS Harvard Law School faculty. And we give access to that to our students for free. We also have a new initiative that is called Beyond the Classroom. And so that does what the title suggests. So in addition to all the extracurricular offerings that we provide to our students, we also have this initiative that brings students from across a number of different departments together, from sociology to media to history to anthropology and of course law, brings them together and exposes them to important not just professional but also cultural opportunities in the wonderful metropolis that London is. As it happens, I've just come back from the Royal Academy of Arts. We went and interacted with architecture tonight, as it happens. So we went to the Royal Academy Arts Awards ceremony for on architecture, and it was really interesting to see how anthropology, how sociology, how law have applications in architecture, and also how we can learn from them in terms of the concerns that I have that they have around the environment, around climate justice, around sustainability, and how we can apply that terminology, how we can apply those methods into our own disciplines. There is also a very exciting study abroad element. Being Canadian students and wanting to study in the UK, I trust that you're cosmopolitan thinkers, and you are individuals, you're people who like exploring new cultures, new legal systems, more specifically. And so we embed that as well. So we have 2 opportunities every year where we go with around 20 to 25 of our students. First of all, in February every year, we go to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. And so we interact with that. We met last year, we met with a UK judge there, and we also sat through a grand chamber hearing. It was a wonderful opportunity, really life-shaping experience for all our students. In the summer, at the end of June, after the exams have finished, we go to Greece, to Athens. So, it's a wonderful place to visit, super vibrant. The students absolutely love it. So we go and spend about 10 days. We do a human rights summer school. It's human rights law policy and practice. And so it exposes students to, foreign law, comparative law. So we take Greek law and Greece as an illustration. We also study EU law and its interaction with Greece. And also what is the contrast that we can paint with the UK now that it has left the European Union. And that's a strong academic element, and from that follows on a wonderful cultural element, so that there are many visits to NGOs, to human rights organizations. We meet with lawyers there, and of course in late in the evening and early in the evening too. There are lots of outings, to the sea, to the beach, to cultural exhibitions, theaters, the Acropolis Museum, and so on and so forth. I'll finish with, I think, two really important things. The visiting professorial faculty and our faculty. First of all, our faculty is modern. We have a mix, a combination of early career researchers who join us, have joined us from Cambridge, from the UCL, from the London School of Economics. So they are out of PhD like 2 or 3 years. So they bring fantastic energy into the program, and they collaborate with really distinguished, internationally leading, world leading, some of them visiting professorial faculty. That includes the former Attorney General, for instance, the Dominic Grieve. We have Sir Jeffrey Nice, who was the prosecutor. He prosecuted Slobodan Milosevic at the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. Or Jessica Simon, to take another example, who was at the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg a few months ago, taking there the first case that put together human rights and climate justice, and actually, made the argument. It was a case against Switzerland, and it made the argument for the relevance, the pertinence of human rights in that so crucial climate justice context. I want to finish with highlighting, out of all the very distinctive elements that I mentioned in relation to our program, how cutting edge it is, how modern it is, how we integrate theory and practice, how we take a really immersive approach. I think what is the most characteristic and most important element is how immersive and how close-knit the program is. We have an intake of around 80 students every year, between 80 and 90 students every year in year one. A very diverse group, students who are critical thinkers, who have anxieties around, current developments, who engage with the program really well, who learn on their feet, and who know from day one that I will take them into London. We will expose them to all these opportunities, and so they have to be up for it. And I know from experience that Canadian students are like that, and they like to learn like that, and I have no doubt that you would greatly enjoy, not only you would greatly enjoy all these opportunities, but you would also bring a lot of extra value and added value to our program by coming in and immersing in the program and engaging in the program in all the ways that I mentioned. So I gave you a lot of evidence, a lot of illustrations, a lot of examples about what the program is. And that reflects, the personal experience of having written up this very cutting-edge program and having delivered that program for a number of years now. But I also want to give you a metric, because metrics, matter and evidence matters. And so in the National Student Survey, which is the most important metric as far as student satisfaction, learning and teaching, student experience are concerned, last year we had a number of top between 1 and 5 positions out of 130 law schools, including quality of teaching and intellectual stimulating teaching. And this year in the league tables, the complete university guide, for instance, has drawn upon all these metrics, the wonderful success that we had there, and has us as the number one, the best department in the country for student satisfaction. So I leave you with that. Thank you so much for your interest in Goldsmiths. We are here, we are available. If you want to learn more, if you want to search our web pages, there's a lot of information there. I would also strongly encourage you, the modern students and people that you are, if you are on Instagram, for instance, there is a web page for Goldsmiths Law. I'll put it on the chat if I can, but it's very rich in information, in pictures and videos that will give you a really good glimpse and also further manifestation of all the initiatives that I've just mentioned to you. Again, thank you so much for your attention, and will come in and give you more information, including about practical aspects of how to apply and what it feels like studying at Goldsmiths at the University of London. Thank you.
So again, my name is Will. I'm the International Recruitment Officer for the Americas here at Goldsmiths. I'm personally based in New York City, so a bit more on your time zone. And after you leave this webinar, always happy to engage with you either via Zoom call or via email. But just to kind of go over briefly the university itself. So Goldsmiths is a university that's part of the University of London, as Dimitrios mentioned. We've been around since 1891. and have been a member of UOL since 1904. We're about 9,800 students on campus and a very diverse student body that we're very proud of. A lot of international students. So when you do come to Goldsmiths, you'll be part of a very global community. You'll also have people that are in the same situation as you that maybe have never been to London before, are really experiencing a lot of new things very quickly. And we prepare really well for that on campus and help you land softly here in London. Our student faculty ratio overall at the university is 13.5 to 1. That's the 13th lowest student faculty ratio of any higher education institution in the UK. So we really give a lot of hands-on attention to students. You'll be assigned a personal tutor, it's called, in the department when you come in, which will kind of foster you through the academics of your program.
Will, if I may, very quick,
oh sure, yeah,
a very quick addition here. The student staff ratio in law in particular is even stronger than that. Is nearly 10 per 1, which is sector leading. It's the best student staff ratio across the UK.
That's a great stat to know. Thank you. We also emphasize research really significantly here at Goldsmiths, and if law-related research is something you're interested in, we have opportunities for that in the department. But overall at the university, we have 36 different research centers and units on campus, and we're consistently rated in the top universities in the UK for our research intensity and quality on the Complete University Guide last year. I believe we were number 14, if I'm not mistaken, for research intensity and quality. And London is an amazing place to be a student. It's consistently ranked the top student city in the world by QS. Our university is located in Southeast London, which I'll talk about more in a second, but London itself has about 9 million people. It's a really diverse place. About 40% of the people that live in London are foreign born. So you really get a convergence of all different kinds of societies and cultures, which I think really augments your learning. There's hundreds of museums and different languages spoken, tons of restaurants and every cuisine imaginable. It's not just tea and fish and chips, I swear. There's tons of history, thousands and thousands of years of history dating back to the Roman Empire, amazing football clubs that you can go catch a Premier League game. And about 40% of the city is also parkland. So it's a very verdant city as well, despite it being super urban. And particularly Southeast London, where we're located, is a really dynamic and multicultural part of the city. It's a great way to experience real London life as well. You're not right in the middle of the city center. It's not touristy. So you can really immerse into a slightly more residential part of London, but still very vibrant. We have 2 music venues across the street from us, really great nightlife and pubs nearby. There's Greenwich Market, which you can see in the top photo there. Tons of different cuisine you can experience in one place, and a lot of green space near campus. As you can see on this map, that's kind of an overall view of campus with the center of London in the background there. Our train station is right next to campus, and we have another one about 10 minutes walk from campus. So you really can't get more convenient than that. We have bus routes that run past campus as well that really can navigate you around South and East London. If you live in our residence halls, you'll notice we have one undergraduate residence hall directly on campus and several residence halls located off campus. And I'll talk more about accommodation towards the end of the presentation. But you'll see that orange line there. Inside that orange line is pretty much all of our campus. So it is contained on a single site. And I think it really gives you the best of both worlds, where you'll have a collegiate, secluded environment on Goldsmiths campus, but you cross the street and you're in the middle of Southeast London. To give you a better idea of where we're located in the city, our campus is the orange pin mark in the corner there on the bottom. And we are pretty much between 10 and 25 minutes from any place in central London. You can feasibly even be in Paris in about 3 hours by going to King's Cross and St. Pancras to catch the Channel. So it's a really well-connected university. We're also around 45 minutes from Gatwick Airport and about an hour and 15 minutes from Heathrow Airport, making your transportation to and from London really simple as well. Our academics are world leading. We have many different subject areas and academic departments that are among the UK's and the world's top programs. We are really world recognized for our arts, humanities, and social sciences education. And as Dimitrios said, we're #1 among law departments in the UK for student satisfaction on the Complete University Guide this year. And aside from law, we do have other academic departments. So you will be joining a robust, comprehensive university that comprises 18 departments. And these are kind of the things you'll be able to experience. So one great thing about that is even if you are, studying law, you'll be able to kind of go to our students union, go check out a spoken word poetry, slam. You'll be able to go to different degree shows for art and design. You'll be able to catch theater productions, go watch student films at our cinema on campus, and really engage with other kind of different departments in the university. And I think that really augments your learning in a positive way. So how to make an application for an LLB? The application is direct through UCAS, and you will select each individual program you wish to apply for. You'll have a maximum of 5 choices when you're making your UCAS application. For this year, the application deadline is the 31st of January, so please be aware of that when submitting your application. Your personal statement will be your kind of most important part of the application aside from academics, and that's focused on academic interest, why you're looking to study law, what your career aspirations are, and you'll also need a letter of recommendation from a teacher or counselor. For an LLM degree, the application is direct, online, and free. You'll be applying through our website directly on each LLM's individual program page. You'll find an apply button. The applications are reviewed on a rolling basis. And again, you'll need a personal statement focused on academic interest and your work experience and any research you might wish to pursue, and also an academic reference or professional reference if you've been out of school for more than 5 years. And I've listed some general entry requirements for both our undergraduate and postgraduate programs here in some key provinces that we get the most interest. But if you have any specific questions about your particular academic requirements, please feel free to reach out to me after this presentation. For tuition and financial aid for students from Canada, I've listed our undergraduate tuition for 2023 entry here. We have yet to establish 2024 fees, but they typically don't increase by more than £200 each year. So that should give you an idea of where they will land next year. The undergraduate fee is slightly less than the postgraduate fee, but they are comparable. And the total cost of attendance is typically estimated to be around 59 to 63,000 Canadian dollars. We do offer international scholarships for students that you can apply for, and those are at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. Those applications typically open in January and close in late May, and you must receive an offer from us to apply for those scholarships. Canadian students also can take advantage of provincial loans, and our financial aid office has experience working with Canadian students on their provincial loans, as do I. So if you have any questions surrounding the use of provincial loans when going abroad, we'd be happy to help you facilitate that. And I'll briefly touch on our accommodation on campus. We have rooms across 7 halls that are, we guarantee accommodation for you as international students in the first year or during your entire year-long master's program if you're pursuing an LLM. We have 24/7 campus security on staff and campus support officers on staff to assist if things are, if you need any assistance. The halls themselves are suite style, and each suite has a kitchen and living space. About 95% of the rooms have a private bathroom, and about 80% of our rooms are within walking distance of campus. The others are a very quick bus or train ride, about less than 10 minutes each. And those are 2 halls that are a bit further away from campus, one closer to central London and one in an area called Camberwell. That's about a neighborhood over. This gives you an idea of what our accommodation looks like. We have communal areas that you can use for studying, and some halls even include gyms. The University of London also provides intercollegiate housing, so if you wish to live with students from other University of London schools, there are 9 halls that are mostly in central and north London that you can also explore. They would be, the ones in central London are about 20 to 25 minutes from Goldsmiths campus, so it's not a really terrible commute. We do not offer meal plans on our campus, but we do have cafeterias, restaurants, and cafes scattered around campus where you can grab food. It's pretty heavily subsidized as well. It's quite cheap food, so that's also kind of a perk. And I'll touch on some internship and work opportunities that you can also take advantage of while you're at Goldsmiths. So we do have summer internships that you can work either with our career service to pursue in London, or you can work with our global opportunities team to go abroad. We have graduate research internships that you can do between your penultimate and final years of study. Certain departments will offer these where you can take advantage of working on a project with the department or with a company that's partnering with the department, and these are paid opportunities. The law department in particular does offer optional work placements that are typically done during your second year, but they can be concurrent with your studies and typically are around up to 10 weeks in length. So there's a lot of ways that you can kind of jumpstart your career aside from the things that Dimitrios already mentioned, mainly the law and policy clinics that really help augment your learning. After your studies, we also have the graduate route visa in the UK, which is a 2-year post-study work visa. These are flexible. You can hold one or multiple jobs in any field, at any salary and skill level. You can be self-employed or employed. So it's a really good way to remain in country and gain some work experience. The skilled worker route visa is the most common way that people will remain in the UK after they leave school as well. These are sponsored by a company, so these are slightly different than the graduate route visa. And this would be in any industry or field, and there's also an unlimited number of them available each year. So any amount of students can earn a skilled worker route visa as long as they have sponsorship. Clubs and societies are a great way to socialize and also meet people outside of your course. We have over 100 clubs and activities on campus, and also sports options, about 35 sports options across Goldsmiths and University of London sports options. These can be competitive or intramural sports, and we do definitely encourage international students to partake in a student organization or club or society. It's very common for home students to take part, so it's a great way to meet sort of home students, but also meet your students, fellow students from other departments. And lastly, before we take some questions, I'll just touch quickly on campus support and services that we offer. Everything from our immigration advisory service to our well-being team, which can help you navigate the National Health Service here. We also provide extensive disability support for students, including automatic reasonable adjustments for students with declared disability. We also provide different ways that you can work with our Students' Union and with the university to assist and advocate for student issues on campus through our student liberation networks. So with that, I will open up the floor to some questions, and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dimitrios, and thank you very much, William, for those presentations. Very insightful. So I'm just going to go over now to some questions that we have. So for anyone who joined late and isn't aware, if you navigate to the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you should be able to see a question box or a chat box. In that box, you can ask any questions, as the name suggests, to either myself, to William, or to Dimitrios about Goldsmiths or about the LLB process in particular. I do have a couple of questions from students that we are working with who aren't able to be here today. And the first one comes from a student who is looking at taking the LLB, but has a specific interest also in finance and quite possibly economics. And they were wondering if there was a possibility. They know there isn't the major and minor system in the UK, but would they be able to sit in on or get any experience with either of those other courses alongside their LLB?
I'm happy to speak to that. Their timing is excellent in asking that question. As I explained earlier, we have recently launched an LLB Law with Economics. So the real focus is on the qualifying law degree, law, but at the same time, significant credit is taken and time is invested in exploring foundational knowledge and some more advanced knowledge too on economics. So that's the perfect combination for what this particular student is looking for. And we do it in an equally fascinating department in the sense that we share a lot in terms of methodologies and the enthusiasm for the immersive approach to knowledge and teaching.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you very much, Dimitrios. It's very insightful. So in terms of another question, just a little bit unrelated to the law aspect in the LLB, but students are wondering if they're able to work. So you mentioned work placements, but are students able to work and earn either it be some pocket money or perhaps some more substantial money while they're in the UK on an undergraduate or postgraduate qualification?
Yeah, yes. I did not mention that, but yes, you can work for 20 hours a week during term time and up to 40 hours a week during your breaks and holidays. So the way the academic calendar is set up is you'll have 10 weeks of courses, 4 weeks break, 10 weeks of courses, 4 weeks break. So during those 4 weeks break and also during the summer, you can work full time. And it's really a great way to both immerse yourself in your local community. So if you want to work at like a local restaurant or retail store or something in your field, that's a great way to meet people outside of Goldsmiths as well. So yeah, it's a really good opportunity to both earn money and get some experience.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you very much, William. So another question has just come in from one of the viewers tonight, which is that they already have a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from the USA. Is there a 2-year offering for the LLB at Goldsmiths?
There is a 2-year offering, but that is in collaboration with a college in New York. So where they would normally take the associate degree from there, and then they'd move on to us here. I mean, it depends on what is the destination that the student is wishing to pursue, and perhaps, I don't know, Will might wish to say more about that. There is our master's degrees too, 1 year long, that might be of potential interest. They share pretty much everything in terms of the methodology and the distinctiveness of the approach that we take. The masters here, the LLM, very much replicates in terms of the experience what we do at the undergraduate. So everything that I've just mentioned about the clinics, about the immersiveness, all that applies to the LLM, and also a fortiori, because it's a much smaller group. So the students in that master's degree get even more access to those unique opportunities to work with the distinguished barristers and as I said, immerse in all the opportunities that we offer. So that's 1 year. And it offers, a really exciting introduction into UK law, into English law.
Awesome. Good. Yeah. No, that's great. It's great to hear that there are avenues that people can take outside of the standard LLB process. But again, if you're unsure, if anyone's unsure tonight as to what type of qualification they would need, whether it be a practicing qualification through the LLB, or if you want to go more into, not the practicing side of law, but perhaps into more of an academic or a business side of just having legal knowledge, then as Dimitrios mentions there, an LLM, if you already have the undergraduate degree, might be something that you want to look into. And Goldsmiths or us at SI UK can help you understand which courses at Goldsmiths are the right course for you. So another question that I have from a student that isn't able to make it tonight is that they, during their academics, they experience some extenuating circumstances, and those extenuating circumstances have caused them to miss the entry requirements slightly for Goldsmiths. But Goldsmiths is a university they want to go to. So they wondered, is there still opportunity for them to apply? And how would they go about expressing these circumstances in order to try and give reason as to why their grades might fall slightly lower than expected?
I'm really grateful that the question has come through because that gives me the opportunity to communicate the message to everyone here. In case other students find themselves in a similar situation, that we do take importantly a contextual approach often. because the program is the one that it is in the way that I've described it, and has that requirement in a way for looks into students who are enthusiastic about that particular approach that we take. That contextual approach often comes first, and perhaps the academic element is not always that first priority. I mean, so students who are not far from the threshold should actually get in direct contact with us. The email address, I don't know if you have an opportunity to forward that through the chat, but in any case, it's law@gold.ac.uk. It's quite straightforward, law@gold.ac.uk. And we would be delighted to hear from students, and to explain a little bit their circumstances, explain importantly their interest in Goldsmiths Law, why they want to come here. Perhaps they've seen something in our offering that is meaningful to them and that they're excited about. And we take all that into consideration. We have a great mix of some fantastically academically able students and others who bring different attributes to the program, and that mix works very well for us.
I would just mention, Dimitrios did briefly mention it before, but we do also have a dual degree program with St. John's University in Queens, New York, wherein students can receive an associate's degree in legal studies for 2 years. And then if they receive certain marks, will be guaranteed admission into the law program at Goldsmiths, into one of our LLBs. That does not include the law with economics LLB, but that would be a good way for students to also kind of overcome any entry requirements they may miss.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you very much for those answers, guys. So one last question that I have outside of the room, and just to remind anyone, we will take some last minute questions. We are nearing, the 6 o'clock mark over here in North America for the end of today's session. But any other questions that we have, by all means, pop them in the chat. If we don't get to them today, I'm more than happy to take those questions and put them forward to Dimitrios and William after this session and get them back to you as well. But a question that I have was, it's a very simple question. A student is looking to apply to one of the LLM programs and they're going to be living on campus. Are they going to be sharing accommodation with first-year students, second-year students in undergraduate degrees? Their preference would be that, they're coming into a postgraduate qualification. Would they be able to, or would there be the offering of separate accommodation from undergraduate students?
Will, do you have the answer to that? Because I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
Yes, I was muted. Yes, we do house undergraduate and postgraduate students separately in our accommodation. So if some halls are completely undergraduate and completely postgraduate, and then some will be divided into like wings, whereas like they're basically separate buildings that are connected by a hallway, but one wing of the building would be postgraduate versus undergraduate. And also for undergraduate students who are a bit more mature, we typically also do consider age when looking at those as well. So even if you're an undergraduate student, but maybe you've had a circuitous path to university and you're now 23 and not 18, we'll try to kind of pair you with similarly aged people.
Awesome. Excellent stuff. So yeah, no, that's great. Thank you very much for those answers. What I'll do for everyone listening is I'm just going to go through a couple of extra slides, touch on some stuff that's already been touched on by William and possibly by Dimitrios as well, just to end off the session. If anything else comes through in terms of questions or anything else, I will get to those at the end if we have time. But I will just say a couple of words first and just let me know, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Excellent. So when looking at applying for the 3-year LLB, you would make your application through UCAS. I believe William already mentioned this already. There might be some repetition here, but just to sort of hammer the theme home, you will require some documents for that. Strong personal statements is one of them. The personal statement being why you would want to study law, why you would be a good candidate academically and professionally. Any sort of extracurricular stuff that you've done that may be relevant, any work experience as well, but also anything that you may have found difficult or that may have hindered or changed anything about your application process that, as mentioned, might be classed as an extenuating circumstance, can be put in there as well. You will need an academic or professional reference letter, depending on where you are in life. One of those might be preferable over the other. If you're coming out of any form of education, an academic reference letter is normally the best. If you spent a lot of time in work outside of education, then perhaps a professional reference letter would be better for yourself, in which case you can speak to us, SI UK, if you have a consultant, or if not, you can get in touch and we can get you a consultant, absolutely fine. Or you can speak with Goldsmiths, with William or Dimitrios or any of the law or admissions faculty, and they will be able to help you with any questions that you have as well. You will need your transcripts from high school and university. It says and university as well. If you've done a university education, then you will need that. You'll need all of your most recent forms of education, but obviously high school is going to be your direct port of entry for this course, typically. And applications costs around 45 Canadian dollars for 5 school applications on UCAS. It's a very cheap alternative to applying to North American schools. So as a backup option or as a first choice, which we hope it is, it's definitely something that's affordable to do. So 2-year, that says LLB, that should say LLM. So the 2-year LLM, which is the Masters of Law courses, they apply directly through Goldsmiths. So you will be applying through the university website for whichever course you would be interested in. And again, you would need a strong personal statement outlining everything that I mentioned previously, and you would need 2 academic or professional reference letters. So it's 2 reference letters. You can have 2 academic, 2 professional, 1 of each, whichever is best for you and best suits you and represents you as an applicant. Again, we can advise on that based on where you are in life and in your education at the moment. So transcripts from university, you may be asked for high school grades depending on what your university level qualification is and what grade you've come out with. But for the most part, it's going to be your university level transcripts. So applications are open for September 2024 for both sets of courses, the LLB, 3-year LLB, the 2-year LLMs. So you can contact us to get a consultant. We do give free application support and advice through the entire process, and we'd be more than happy to help you and assist you with your application through to Goldsmiths. So I won't dwell on this page. This is just a page that's talking.
If I may, sorry to interrupt you there. The LLM is, as we said before, one year. Maybe that was a typing mistake there. But it's 1-year program, so students arrive in September, and by September, 12 months later, they will have submitted their dissertation, and come close to finishing their degree.
Yes, my apologies. Thank you very much for clarifying, Dimitrios. You're very correct indeed. I believe that is a typo. It is 1-year LLM. The 2-year is referring to something different. We won't go into that, but a 1-year LLM. You're quite right. Thank you very much for correcting me there. So upcoming events, again, we won't dwell on this, but if you're interested in any other universities in the UK that offer law, we do run these webinars every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Those are some more law schools that we will be talking to in the future. So you can jot those down. Obviously, tonight we're here to talk about Goldsmiths, so we won't dwell. So a couple more seconds on that, just in case you are interested. And the final slide for myself is just if you are looking to apply, you're not working with SI UK, and you would like some more help and advice, then you can book a consultation free of charge using the email address or the contact telephone number below. Or you can sign on to our events page, have a look at what we're doing, who we're representing, what sort of stuff you can get yourself involved in. Again, all free of charge. And there's our Instagram handle there as well, where we do post some social media content that's related to the universities in the UK and their applications. So I'm just having a quick skim through, and I have a question. Oh, there is one more question that has come in. Yes. So this is coming from one of the viewers tonight. It says, I'm interested in international law and international relations. I think I'd like to live in Prince Edward Island, but I guess I'd have to live in Toronto to do this. I'm not 100% sure as to if you are still there and you have that question again. If you could specify a little bit more, just wary of the time as well. But I mean, in terms of any of these qualifications, excellent. If you could just specify for me just a little bit more as to what you mean between Toronto and PEI there, because as far as I'm concerned, there are provincial regulations that may differ in terms of coming back to Canada to practice with an LLB. An LLM is just for your own knowledge, really, and increasing the knowledge you have of law. So if you could just clarify slightly what you meant by the question, just in a little bit more detail, just for myself. Quite possibly, yes. Just the reach that you would get for an international standing if you were working in Toronto or Vancouver, or obviously in London, which you are able to do thanks to the graduate route visa that William mentioned earlier on. Yes, you would probably find a lot more success. Not to say that you can't do that sort of work in Prince Edward Island, but you would, I think, from my experience, you would definitely find more success in a larger city. I mean, if William or Dimitrios have anything to add to that, by all means.
I think we can draw the analogy with the multiplicity of opportunity that is offered in London, including in relation to international law. I mean, there's not much more to say about that, but it's quite commonsensical. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay,
yes.
Awesome. No worries at all. Well, again, thank you very much for joining us tonight, everybody that's there and has asked the questions and has been interested. And again, a big thank you to for Dimitrios and William. Dimitrios especially, because we know what time it is over there in the UK. We won't keep you any longer. But again, on the East Coast with me, thank you again, William, for both being here tonight. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Hope to see you all again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.